These 8 cubes fall in the mid-range price category and are all incredible 3x3s, but which one is the best? Well, after battling each of them in a 1 vs 1 format, we will find the winner. But first, let me explain the rules. Each battle will consist of 3 rounds. They are features, price, and performance. Whichever cube wins 2 of the 3 rounds will move on to the next stage, with the other cube being eliminated. And with that, let's randomize the bracket and begin with the first battle. That will be the Guhong Pro M versus RS3M version 5. Starting with the features, both of these cubes have a ball core which helps with stability, and they both offer UV coating which helps with the grip throughout solves. But I think the decider for this category is the tensioning system. Whilst the Guhong's is completely custom, it has significantly less choices than the RS3M, which means that the V5 wins the first point. Moving now onto the price, and we can see that the Guhong is cheaper at speedcubeshop.com, and now the battle is tied, which means that we go on to the performance. I think that the Guhong has incredibly satisfying turning, and the smoothness of solves is really nice. However, the corner cutting and lack of flexibility are the big drawbacks for this cube. On the other hand, the RS3M version 5 has very soft and smooth turning, which means few lockups and mistakes, which helps to increase the consistency of my results. Therefore, the version 5 moves on to the next round. But will it face the WRM version 10 or Hyton Wave Rider? Well, that is the next battle, and to begin we have the features. Whilst the Wave Rider has magnets in some pretty interesting places, this is nowhere near as noticeable and impactful as the ball core on the WRM version 10. However, Hyton does give you the option of adjusting the magnets, which is not a feature on the WRM. But looking at the tensioning systems now, and the version 10 is clearly a lot better, as it is very simple and easy to use, whilst also providing a lot of options, which means that the WRM wins the first point. And next we have the price. As you can see, the Wave Rider is a lot cheaper, which means that it's now a draw going into the final category. In terms of performance, whilst the Wave Rider does have controllable turning with a decent amount of flexibility, allowing for good corner cutting, the plastic quality is very poor and ruins the feeling of this cube. Whereas the version 10 is clearly a premium 3x3, and the solves on this cube are very good. I do think that it's a little bit clacky, but apart from that, the WRM definitely has better performance, and therefore it moves on to the semi-final. Moving over to the other side of the bracket now, and we have the YS3M versus MS3R. Looking at the features first, and both of these cubes are pretty lackluster. The MS3R does have a nicer tensioning system, but the YS3M has a ball core. I mean, considering how bad the old Moyu tensioning system is, I think the first category has to go to the MS3R, as there's not really that much more to judge it on. Moving over to the price now, and these cubes come in at similar prices, but the YS3M is slightly cheaper, and therefore it wins the second point. And finally, looking at performance, the YS3M has really nice smooth turning, which is similar to a lot of other Moyu cubes. However, this means that it is slower than I would like it to be, resulting in more force having to be put into each turn. Comparing this to the MS3R, and that cube is a lot more clacky and less smooth whilst turning. Yet I do find that I can solve on it for longer due to it being more frictionless. But overall, I do still prefer the YS3M, which means that it wins 2 of the 3 categories and moves on to the next round. Now onto our last first round battle, and this one will be a speed round. In terms of features, the Tornado offers significantly more due to the adjustable magnets, corner-to-core magnets, incredible tensioning system, and the option for UV coating. The Tianma doesn't have anywhere near this level of features and therefore loses the first category. Looking at the price, and the Tianma is cheaper, which means it's now a draw going into performance. And I think that anyone who has tried these 2 cubes will know that the Tornado is significantly better. I mean, it is probably the favourite going into this battle, which means that something like the Tianma will not be able to beat it. Therefore, the Tornado moves on to the semi-final. And just before the next round, if you want to buy any of these cubes at the best prices, make sure to go over to speedcubeshop.com using any of the links in my description. All of these cubes are incredible, and you can get them at lower prices by using discount code UKCuber for 5% off. But anyway, now we have to decide the first cube to make it into the final, and that begins with the RS3M version 5 versus WRM version 10. Looking at the features first, and both of these cubes are very similar with a ball core and non-adjustable magnets. However, the one deciding factor is that the version 10 has an incredible tensioning system which is fully customizable and is very simple to use, which means that it wins the first category. Now onto the price, and this one is pretty simple as the RS3M is cheaper than the WRM, which means that it's a tie going into performance. Whilst I would say that the version 10 has a more premium feeling, I actually prefer the smoother and more soft turning of the RS3M, as it has less lockups and mistakes and has a nicer amount of flexibility flexibility compared to the WRM. Therefore, the RS3M version 5 moves on to the final. And to see which cube joins it, we have the YS3M versus X-Man Tornado. Once again, in terms of the features, the Tornado wipes the floor with the YS3M as it has adjustable magnets and a much better tensioning system. Therefore, it wins the first point. Moving on to the price, and the YS3M does come in at a pretty significant drop compared to the Tornado, and it wins the second category. Now going into performance, and similarly to before, the Tornado is very good in this round. The corner cutting, flexibility and smooth turning all mean that it is a much better 3x3 than the YS3M. However, I would say that I like how stable that cube is, which means that it isn't a complete whitewash, but the Tornado still wins in performance and moves on to the final. Therefore, after 6 battles, we have the RS3M version 5 versus Tornado version 3. And much like the rest of this video, let's begin with the features. Once again, it is very clear that the adjustable magnets and tensioning system on the Tornado are superior to anything the RS3M can offer. However, the ball core on that cube is very nice and helps to increase the stability. Regardless of this, the version 3 wins the first category, and now we move on to the price. And for this one, the RS3M is cheaper, which means that it all comes down to performance. So let's begin with the RS3M version 5, and I really like how controllable and stable this cube is. The ball core ensures that I overshoot and lock up very little when turning, which I like. Furthermore, this cube prioritizes a smooth feeling, which is nicer to solve on, but can also result in slower times when speed can be more important. Now moving over to the Tornado, and this cube is known to be one of the best when it comes to performance. With super flexible turning while still having decent stability, the version 3 offers some of the best times I have gotten on any cubes, let alone the ones priced in the mid-ranged category. And for that reason, it wins this round and the entire video. But let me know if you think I got any of these battles wrong, and be sure to tell me which cube you think should have won overall. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.